Today, our focus is shifting to a strategy built for immediate relief known as Barista FIRE. I'm Phil, the elder millennial, and let's take a look why this specific variation is the fastest escape hatch from the corporate grind. Over these 3 episodes, we're diving into the modifications of the FIRE movement to give you practical blueprints that you can begin implementing today, setting up your future free of corporate burnout and constant money stress. Ultimately, it's about creating options that give you the freedom to truly choose how you invest your most valuable resource, your time. If you're staring up at that multi-million-dollar mountain we talked about last time thinking, there's no way I can survive what feels like the rest of my healthy life in this meat grinder just to hit a number, if that's you, I have good news. You don't have to play an all or nothing game. The traditional retirement model tells you that you're either 100% trapped at your desk or 100% sitting on the beach doing absolutely nothing. In that scenario, there's no middle ground. But for our generation, that rigidity is a recipe for physical and mental breakdown. Barista FIRE completely flips the script on that narrative. It realizes that you don't have to save enough cash to fund a lifetime of complete leisure. You just need to save enough to buy your way out of toxic corporate culture by downshifting the gears and taking a role entirely on your own terms. To understand why this works, you have to look at where it all came from. Traditional FIRE was built by Wall Street analysts and university professors typing away in ivory towers back in the 90s. But Barista FIRE? That was engineered from the bottom up. This was built in the mid-2000s on the internet forums and Reddit threads by regular, everyday people like you and me who were completely redlining from work fatigue. Remember, these are the folks who had just lived through the financial crisis. And through that lens, they looked at the timeline for traditional retirement and realized a massive, uniquely American brick wall: healthcare costs. This was a highly relevant discussion at the time because Obamacare was just now being brought to the forefront. And it got people thinking not only about their future prospects, but also about the affordability of healthcare costs, specifically medical insurance. Let's be completely honest about the system we live in. In the United States, if you quit your job entirely at the age of 35 to live off a stock portfolio, you're one major medical emergency or bad diagnosis away from having your entire net worth completely liquidated. The cost of private insurance on the open market can easily swallow up $1,000 to $2,000 a month, completely tanking your retirement math. But right around 2014, people noticed a fascinating corporate loophole. Starbucks famously started offering full health insurance benefits, dental, and vision to part-time employees working just 20 hours a week. The internet did what it does best. The Hive ran the numbers and people started realizing, what if I don't have to grind to save a nest egg to cover 100% of my expenses? What if I choose to only save enough to cover my fixed overhead costs, like my mortgage, and let the hourly part-time gig cover my groceries and lock in my health insurance? And just like that, the term Barista FIRE was born. It transformed the entire goal of financial independence. It stopped being about total retirement and it became about work latitude. And that's why I'm here. My goal is to get you to see the reality that freedom starts with a plan and it ends with options you choose. Remember our baseline example from episode 1. If your life costs $60,000 a year to run, traditional FIRE demands a $1.5 million nest egg based on the 4% rule. But under the Barista blueprint, you decide to leverage your life energy differently. You build a smaller portfolio that is engineered to cover exactly half your expenses, $30,000 a year. Apply that same 4% rule to pull that $30,000 a year safely out of the market, and your new target isn't $1.5 million, it's about $750,000. You just cut your financial timeline exactly in half. Now, obviously, there's a lot of considerations like taxes, but this is more about getting you to think about the possibilities. How can you leverage this way of thinking to create the path to freedom for you? Now let's be entirely real with each other. Cutting your target number from 1.5 million down to 750,000 makes the mountain a hill, but you still have to climb the hill. The entire foundation of this opportunity is predicated on a single principle. You have to maintain the discipline of earning and saving $750,000. And if you are trapped in a day-to-day corporate grind, this is no small task. So let's look at a realistic, no-nonsense blueprint for how a regular household can actually engineer this using real numbers. If you pull in a standard median household income of around $80,000 a year, Your take-home pay right after taxes sits around $64,000 a year. If you draw a hard line in the sand and opt out of lifestyle creep, and you aggressively commit to saving 20% of your gross income, that means investing roughly $1,330 a month into a balanced, low-cost index fund, outpacing inflation at a historical 7% return. If you maintain that baseline, your timeline to total latitude isn't 40 years, it's 22. And here's how that timeline actually breaks down psychologically. The first 10 years are pure, unadulterated grit. It takes nearly a decade of consistent, boring discipline just to cross your first major milestone of 200,000. In this phase, your labor is doing all the heavy lifting. But right around year 11, a mathematical shift occurs. Compound interest wakes up. It takes you nearly 10 years to hit the first 200K, but it takes just 7 more years to clear 450,000. Suddenly, the interest your money is generating begins to match the cash you're putting in. Your nest egg is working a part-time shift right alongside of you. From there, velocity takes over. It takes just 5 final years to rocket from 450,000 to your full 750,000 escape hatch. You didn't double your workload to get there. You just kept the discipline alive long enough to let the laws of mathematics take the wheel. Now in that scenario, the later you start your journey, the later you can check out. So the sooner you establish the plan, the better your prospects. Now let's look at a case study of how this actually functions day to day. Meet a typical corporate worker tracking this path. Let's call him Eric. Eric is 38 years old, he's been diligent and disciplined, and he does have a nest egg, but he's hit the wall and he's become completely burnt out with the 12-hour days and the endless emails. He hits his barista number of 750,000, and at that moment, Eric decides to hand in his 2 weeks notice. He leaves the corporate ladder behind forever. His $750,000 portfolio generates $30,000 a year, which completely covers his housing, utilities, and base costs. To cover the remaining $30,000 of his lifestyle, Eric takes a part-time job at a local bike shop or even a high-end coffee shop working about 20 hours a week. He makes $15 to $20 an hour. He pulls in about $1,500 to $2,000 a month after taxes, and he gets his health care subsidized by the company. Think about that. Eric's life now isn't about working through tears and exhaustion anymore. He clocks in, does a physical hourly job, hangs out with customers, clocks out, and leaves 100% of his work at the door. Not completely free of stress or responsibility, but life more on his own terms. He works 4 hours a day and has the rest of the day and his life completely to himself. That's the power of the middle ground. Now, here's the reality. Barista FIRE isn't a magic wand, and it requires a massive ego check. If your identity is completely wrapped up in your corporate title, your company parking spot, or looking important in executive boardrooms, this path is going to test you. You're making a conscious choice to step down from the traditional prestige ladder to reclaim your peace of mind. You have to be okay with people asking you what you do for a living and giving an answer that doesn't sound impressive to corporate society. You also have to realize that you are still trading time for money. You aren't completely untethered from an alarm clock, and you still have to show up for a shift. But there is a profound, life-altering psychological shift that happens when you work because you want to, not because you are a financial hostage. When your portfolio is covering basic survival, a bad manager losing their mind at a part-time job carries exactly 0 power over your life. If the environment becomes toxic, you have options. The leverage to say, I quit on a Tuesday morning without ruining your life. You are working for play money and health benefits, not survival. The mistake we make is thinking financial freedom is an all or nothing game. It's not. It's a spectrum engineered to your specific situation. Barista FIRE is simply one of the fastest, most immediate escape hatches for corporate burnout. Remember, this is about you learning and understanding the foundations for yourself, so you don't have to rely on someone else to aim for you. You choose the destination for your travel plans. You choose the airline. You book the ticket, and you let the transportation do the rest. This isn't about rigid structure and deprivation. Remember, to be successful, you've got to have a plan. But there are options where you can have your cake and eat it too. Starting with a plan like this, you begin to put yourself in a position where you can do what you want to do, and you can choose to invest your time in a career that actually fulfills your true calling, all while opening up your most valuable resource, time. When you have the right plan, you position yourself to get the resources aligned that give you the flexibility to truly be free. Hit subscribe because in our next video, we're diving into the ultimate efficiency play, Coast Fire, where you front load the math early and let the compound interest do 100% of the work while you spend your complete paycheck today. Watch this next episode that YouTube thinks will continue your journey to financial freedom. See you in the next one.